Welcome to the Nameless.
And it gets closer every time. I didn't notice it at first. That's the part that bothers me most. Because when I finally did notice it, I couldn't tell you when it started. I live alone. Small apartment, 3rd floor, beige carpet, thin walls, the kind of place where you can hear your neighbors sneeze but never learn their name. Nothing special about it, which is why I moved in. I work from home, graphic design, long hours, a lot of screen time. Most days the only voice I hear is my own when I forget and start reading something out loud. A few months ago, I started taking pictures of my workspace. Not for any dramatic reason. I was documenting a desk setup for a client blog. Before and after shots, lighting tests, angles. It was late, around 1:30 a.m. The building was quiet in that heavy way. Not peaceful, just still. I took maybe 20 photos that night. Different exposures, different focal lengths. I didn't look at them until the next morning.
That's when I saw it. In the far corner of one image, just above my bookshelf, there was something that looked like a smudge, like a blur, soft, oval. It wasn't there in the shots before it. It wasn't there in the ones after. Just that single frame. I zoomed in. Pixels broke apart. Noise from low light. Compression artifacts. Nothing concrete. But it looked like a face. Not a clear one, just the suggestion of one. 2 darker points where eyes might be, a longer shape beneath. I told myself it was pareidolia. The brain loves faces. It finds them in clouds, in outlets, in burnt toast. I deleted the photo and forgot about it. For a while. A week later, I was on a video call, camera on, client talking about brand consistency. I minimized the window for a second to check something. That's when I saw my own camera preview in the corner. Behind me, over my shoulder, was the bookshelf, and something darker above it.
I turned around immediately. Nothing there. Just the wall. Slightly off-white, a small crack near the ceiling. I turned back to the screen. The dark shape was gone. I blamed compression, internet lag, lighting shift. After the call, I opened my camera app and snapped another picture. Normal. I tried again. Normal. I moved the lamp closer. Took another. And there it was. Faint, but clearer than before. Higher this time. Closer to the center of the wall. I checked the timestamp. 2 minutes after the last shot. I didn't delete that one. I stared at it. The shape wasn't just an oval anymore. There was depth. A shadow under what might have been cheekbones. It still could have been noise, digital interference, long exposure blending with movement. But I hadn't moved. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about something simple. If it was just a glitch, why did it only show up when I was alone?
The next morning, I tested that idea. I invited my sister over. She lives 15 minutes away. We had coffee. I pretended I needed help rearranging the desk. While she was there, I took pictures. 10 of them. Nothing. The wall was empty. After she left, I waited. The apartment felt different, quieter than usual. I took another photo. Nothing. I felt ridiculous, paranoid. I turned off the lights, stood in the dark for a minute, let my eyes adjust, took one more. There it was. Lower now. Not by much, but enough. I measured it, literally. I marked the position on my screen with a small piece of tape. The next night, I did the same thing. Alone, dark room, single photo. The shape was just below the tape, closer to my head. I started documenting everything: dates, times, lighting conditions, whether anyone else had been in the apartment that day.
It only appeared after at least 6 hours of being completely alone. It never showed up when someone else was physically inside the space, not even briefly. One afternoon, I tried to cheat the system. I left my laptop recording video while I went downstairs to check the mail. 5 minutes, that's all. When I came back, I scrubbed through the footage. At 3:17 p.m., the lighting in the room shifted slightly. At 3:18, a faint distortion appeared above the bookshelf. At 3:20, it was gone. When I stepped back into the apartment at 3:22, the wall was empty. I replayed that section at least 20 times. There was no dramatic change, no movement, just presence, then absence. I checked the building records online. Construction date, renovations, previous tenants. That's when things got strange in a different way. The address auto-filled in most databases, but when I searched specifically for apartment 3F, nothing came up. No rental history, no prior listings, just blank entries. I assumed it was a clerical error until I checked the unit numbers above and below me. 3E had a history, 3G had a history, 3F did not exist. On paper, my apartment wasn't there. I went to the leasing office downstairs. The woman at the desk looked confused when I asked about previous tenants. She said, "You're the first in that unit since the remodel." "What remodel?" She paused. "Last year. I moved in 2 years ago." She checked her computer. Her expression changed slightly. Not alarmed, just uncertain. "It says here the unit was vacant until last spring." "That's not possible," I said. She didn't argue. She just printed a generic occupancy sheet that didn't list names, just dates. The dates didn't match my lease. I still have my signed lease. I've checked it 3 times. The unit number says 3F. I started asking neighbors if they'd ever met anyone who lived here before me. Most shrugged. One older man said he thought the apartment had been storage at some point. Another said he wasn't sure there was a 3F. He laughed when he said it, but he didn't look like he was joking. That night, I didn't take any pictures. I just sat at my desk, lights off, laptop closed, waiting. Nothing happened. No sounds, no movements, no shadows. But the air felt occupied. Not colder, not heavier, just aware, like the room was listening. I broke first. I turned on the camera and took a photo without looking at the screen. When I finally did, I felt my stomach drop. The face was clear enough now that I couldn't pretend it wasn't shaped like one. Still blurred, still undefined, but there were features, and it was level with my head. I didn't sleep. The next day, I decided I needed proof that didn't depend on my perception. I bought a new camera, different brand, different sensor. I set it up on a tripod, waited until midnight, alone, pressed the shutter. The image loaded. Empty wall. I felt relief flood through me. Then I noticed something. In the reflection of my darkened computer monitor behind me, faint but unmistakable, a shape. Not on the wall, in the reflection, closer to me than the wall would be. I turned around. Nothing. The new camera never captured it directly again, but reflections did. Monitors, windows, even the black screen of my phone. Only when I was alone, and each time it was closer. A week ago, it appeared beside my shoulder, not touching, just aligned. I stopped inviting people over, not out of fear, but because when they're here, it's gone. And when they leave, it feels like it's been waiting, 2 nights ago, I decided I wouldn't take any photos at all. I'd just sit. If it wanted to appear, it could do it without a lens. So I sat in silence for hours. Nothing happened. No movement, no sound. But around 2:11 a.m., I became aware of something subtle, the absence of my own reflection. I was facing my blank monitor. The room behind me was visible in the black glass, the bookshelf, the wall, the doorway, but not me. I leaned closer. Still nothing. Then, slowly, a shape formed where my reflection should have been, not overlapping me, replacing me. The outline wasn't exact, but it was upright, head tilted slightly, as if studying the room the way I usually do. I didn't move. I don't know how long we stayed like that. Eventually, my reflection returned. Or maybe I blinked. I can't be sure. Yesterday, I went back to the leasing office. I asked for a physical blueprint of the floor.
The manager frowned but printed one. There was 3E. There was 3G. Between them was a narrow blank space labeled Utility Access. No 3F. I told her that was my apartment. She looked at the paper, then at me, and said very calmly, "We don't have a 3F." I walked back upstairs, unlocked my door. Everything inside was exactly where I left it. My couch, my desk, my bookshelf, my wall. I took one last photo, not because I wanted to, because I felt like I had to. The image loaded slowly. When it finished, the wall was empty, completely empty. No shape, no blur, nothing. I felt something close to relief until I noticed the perspective. The angle was wrong. It was as if the camera had been held from somewhere slightly behind me, not from where I was standing. I checked the metadata. The timestamp matched. The device matched. Everything matched, except the viewpoint.
I compared it to older photos. The bookshelf alignment was off by a few inches, as if someone taller had taken it, from just over my shoulder. I haven't taken a picture since. I don't look at reflections anymore. I keep the lights on. But here's the part I can't explain. For the past 3 nights, nothing has appeared. No distortions, no missing reflections, no anomalies. It's quiet again, normal. And that scares me more than anything, because the last clear image I have saved, the one before everything stopped, doesn't show the wall at all. It shows my desk, my chair, my bookshelf, and someone sitting in my seat, facing the camera, alone in the apartment. And if that's true, if the face only appears when I'm alone, then I don't know who's been taking the pictures.